Hey guys, back here with another video response to EDT's 1138 Top 3 Tuesday, this time featuring the guys from Gamestorm. So the question was, what are your top 3 horror themed games? And I'm gonna start my list with number 3 being Dead Space for the PlayStation 3 and 360. The game was, I thought the game was okay, but you know the reason why I'm including the game is because it probably has the biggest scare factor out of any game that I played. The game is set on this forsaken or mining ship in the middle of space that has been infected by this alien virus. And you know, you play the role of an engineer that is sent to check out what's wrong with the ship, and then all of a sudden you're by yourself and trying to figure it out what the heck happened. But the game does an amazing job of presenting the environment and presenting that sense of tension of being trapped in this forsaken ship in the middle of space. And you have to fight these monsters called the necromorphs, and they do a fantastic job of presenting the monsters, because they would appear in all these dark rooms or room with very dim lighting, and so the game does a good job of scaring you, in the sense that you would be in this very dark room and you would hear the sound of the monster, and then you would turn around and trying to find out where the monsters are coming from. So the game does an excellent job of presenting the whole horror theme deal. So that's why Dead Space is number 3 in my list. But number 2, I'm gonna go with a Nintendo 64 game. Well, it was released in several consoles. I think PS1, N64, and Dreamcast, and that game is Shadow Man, which is based on a comic. But I never read the comic personally, but I played the game and I loved it. The game did a fantastic job of presenting this place in the dead side called the Asylum, which is a very bizarre, creepy, and just crazy. It's just a crazy type of facility that was built by this guy called Legion, he's basically like the reincarnation of the demon itself, and his plan is to resurrect, this evil spirit, I think, and he has like this 5 guys with him that are serial killers that you have to face throughout the game, and for each of the 5 bosses that you have to fight, you have to travel to different locations, and one of them, for example, is in a county jail. And just the game does a really good job of presenting an eerie atmosphere, and just a little bit on the twisted and crazy side, especially once you get near the end of the game, and you go to this place called the Asylum. I have fond memories of just being really scared, but at the same time amazed at how well designed the level and the asylum was. But so yeah, that's why I chose Shadow Man as my second game. And my number 1 game, it's no surprise, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, and that game is the first Resident Evil, but the remake for the GameCube. In my opinion, it's the best remake out of any game ever made. The first one, I was a huge fan of the first Resident Evil game, and Capcom did a fantastic job on when they released the GameCube remake. It's basically the same original PlayStation 1 game, but with better graphics, and the better graphics, even though they're pre-rendered again, they just bring to life that eerie and spooky mansion from the first Resident Evil. It just brings that mansion to life, and it just has so much detail in it that you really think that's the way the developers intended you to feel when playing the game. I don't think any game has or can match the atmosphere that the remake of Resident Evil has done. And on top of that, the remake has also new areas that you can explore in the mansion, and not to mention improved graphics and sound, and just like the original, it has many endings. And but speaking of horror, it's your typical Resident Evil classic, back to its roots, survival horror. The higher difficulty you play the game on, the less ammo you have, and you really have to find a way to get past the zombies while conserving ammo, and that just adds the tension and the horror factor in the game. Not to mention, later on in the game, you have to face tougher enemies. They're just not the dumb zombies that walk around the hallways, but you have to face other bioorganic weapons, such as the hunters and all those weird insects and the spiders and whatnot. So yeah, Resident Evil, the remake, definitely my #1 choice. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.